To the United stand, this is your latest Manchester United news. We'll be talking about the very latest around Dennis Zakaria. What is the party line? What's the likely truth around where we're at? What's going on? Is it agent talk? Is it reality? We'll be talking about that. Also, the latest on Paul Pogba. Lots of different things being said about Paul Pogba at the moment. The reality is there's a queue of clubs interested in Paul Pogba, despite what some people want to say. And the same with Anthony Martial as well. We're talking about that. Also, a few other things I want to talk about as well. But look, we're 7 o'clock live tonight because I'm doing the watch-along for Tottenham versus Chelsea on That's Football. The link's in the description. I'll be going straight onto there after this. How are we all doing anyway? And of course, before I get into... what should we talk about? Do you want the latest on Pogba, or should we talk about what's going on with Zakaria first? Let me know in the chat, actually, because before I do that and give you the information on that, let me just say this. We are sponsored by the great people at Manscaped. They are now they're helping over 4 million men worldwide. Look after what really matters. Male grooming. So if you still have a jungle in your pants after New Year, listen to why you should get yourself the new Lawnmower 4.0. It's got a new multifunctional on and off switch and a travel lock created for people who like to travel. The ability to turn the LED spotlight on and off when needed for a precise shave. The new trimmer also allows for customizable lengths. It won't increase the size of anything down there, but it can increase and decrease the size of the hair around it, to be blunt. And it's not blunt though, it's very, very to the point. And it's sleek with a two-toned matte gloss finish, even featuring a hot foil stamped chrome Manscaped logo. Fantastic. I bet Manscaped loved the day that they signed me up. And of course, its wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction. Alongside the new Lawnmower 4.0, you can get the performance package, which includes the Weed Whacker, which I absolutely love. I'll demonstrate now. Clear out the nasal hair if you're that age. I mean, you can put it in your ears, but I'd clean it first, and you've got to be over 60. If you've got ear hair in your 40s, what's that all about? You get the crop preserver, the crop reviver, very comfy boxer shorts and a travel bag. And because Manscaped care about everyone that watches the United stand, they're giving you an exclusive 20% off and free worldwide shipping. So what are you waiting for? Trim your grass to make your yard look bigger with Manscaped. Links in the video description. Fantastic products for male grooming. They are really good products, actually. I mean, I do use them quite regularly, and they are really good products. So 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Check yours out and get on with it. But look, let's get straight into the show. Let's trim through the rubbish and get straight into the show. I'm going to start off with Zakaria because Darren Marco wants me to start off on Zakaria. So look, the party line coming out at the moment is that Manchester United have made no contact with Dennis Zakaria at all, and that potentially this is all just agent talk. Now, what I'm going to say to you is that if you follow transfer news, which I've done for a very long time, and I'm sure you have as well, and we have got this update also coming in from Fabrizio Romano, who has said Dennis Zakaria's situation is understood to still be the same. Manchester United have had conversations with his new agents. Rangnick appreciates Zakaria since a long time, but there's still no bid on the table. And I think, we've had Christian Falk, who is very accurate on German transfers. We've now had Romano twice say that we've had conversations with Zakaria's people. This is where we're at. You cannot say it's agent talk like it's coming from Portugal or it's coming from South America. These journalists that are talking about it, CC Ekner, Falk, Ronan Murphy, Fabrizio Romano, they're not journalists that are going to fall into the trap of an agent trying to whip up a interest. And plus, you don't need to whip up interest for someone like Zakaria. Welcome Martin Pendle to the Members Club, by the way. You don't need to. Alvarez is playing in Argentina for River Plate. No one really knows what he's about. They need to whip up. He's basically in another continent. They need to whip up some interest. Zakaria, you don't need to. Alvarez is like somebody that might be having the best party in the world but's got no mates. So you need to get on social media and start telling people about this great party. Zakaria, he's got mates. He just puts the invites out and people come. And Zakaria does not need to, and his agent does not need to whip up interest in Zakaria because there would be a queue of people for him anyway. So I don't believe that this is being whipped up by an agent. I don't think United are being attached to it to promote it, because why would you need to add Manchester United into this? Sometimes you do need to add Manchester United into it. If you've got Benfica have got a midfielder that no one really wants, and then you say United are in for him, it might get a few people in. Why would Dennis Zakaria's agents need to get United involved to whip up interest when Bayern Munich, Juventus, Dortmund, Arsenal, Liverpool are already interested? There's no beneficial to leak to a load of agents to a load of credible journalists that Manchester United are in. So I think what's happening, in my opinion, you know what we're doing? We're monitoring this situation, says Sean Turner. And I think, effectively, what I think's happening, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree, I think Manchester United have contacted his agent about getting him because Rangnick likes him and he's cheap and he's free in the summer. And I think that's what United have done. I think other clubs have done the same. I don't think United are winning this race. And that is why I think if you try and get information from United or a decent, source close to the club, they are saying, which is what I've heard as well, that nothing's advanced at the moment. There's nothing going on with that deal at the moment because it's just they're neither confirming or denying it really, and that's what you would expect. And I would stick by what I've said before because I heard this evening, I think on MUFC MPB Twitter, there's another source saying that Dortmund have had constructive talks with him and Arsenal are interested. And I think the truth with the Zakaria situation is that United would like to get him. But so would Dortmund, so would Munich, so would Liverpool, so would 2 or 3 other clubs. And he doesn't have to leave in January. He can wait until the summer like Lingard's going to do, like Pogba's going to do. So I think United are interested. I just think when would United ever say we're really interested just so that they can lose? I think that's what it's all about. It's all about saving face at the moment. So I wouldn't say it's over. It's the 12th of January. There's still just under 3 weeks left of this transfer window, but I don't think anything's imminent at the moment, and that's what I think. But I'm not buying that it's just agent talk. I think that really disrespects the journalists that have actually put the information out there, one of which is Romano, and the German journalists are very good around Bundesliga news. So I definitely think United are interested. I just think there's a lot of other clubs interested. Mark, which player would you like to see United bring in, says Edmund? Right here, right now, I would love Zakaria. I've always liked him as a player. I'm not saying that he'd definitely be a success, but he's the right profile of player to bring in January. And people talk about January transfer windows, and quite rightly, they talk about them and say it's got to be opportunistic. Look at Aston Villa. Coutinho on a loan, no risk, but big high reward if it works. Look at Digne. Fell out at Everton, becomes available, opportunistic, good signing. You can make very good signings in January, but I agree they've got to be opportunistic. Zakaria is a good signing and it's opportunistic. Manchester United Football Club cannot keep briefing saying it's very hard to do business in January because football fans are educated. And it's not very hard to do business in January for the players that we want. There are midfielders that if we want them, we can get them. And over to you. Simple as that. If we wait till the summer, I don't think we'll get Zakaria because I think that there will be better options for him. I think we've got to be aggressive right here, right now. Mark, any update on Lamptey? The Lamptey story is a load of crap, basically. I wasn't really going to talk about it. I spoke about it a little bit on the afternoon show. Lamptey story is a load of crap. Manchester United are not going to spend £30 to £40 million on a midfielder. They're certainly not going to do it on a right back when they spent £50 million on Wan-Bissaka and £20 million on Delot. They don't know what they're doing with Delot and Wan-Bissaka at the moment, so that's still very much under surveillance. And you've got somebody like Ethan Laird and Brandon Williams on loan doing reasonably well at the moment. So United are not looking at Tariq Lamptey. You can take that to the bank and bank it if you want to. What I want to talk about next, we will get into some of your questions, but I do want to talk about Paul Pogba. This is something I was going to do a show at 2 o'clock about, but we had the breaking news about Zakaria. I want to say straight away, I accept that some people are probably not interested in the Pogba story, but there has been over the Christmas period some mixed messages sent out. There was the story that United were willing to increase the offer, which they haven't. My understanding is, and to be fair, this is from Romano when he spoke to us in the summer, Manchester United have had a contract on the table for Paul Pogba since the summer, which Paul Pogba doesn't want to sign. There's not been an increase on that offer. That offer is believed to be around £400,000 a week. It could be more, it could be less. And Pogba doesn't want to sign it at the moment. We had a story a couple of weeks ago or a week ago that Manchester United were willing to offer him £500,000 a week. Paul Pogba's representatives came out and said that that's not true. I suspect Paul Pogba's representatives would like Manchester United to increase their offer just so that they've got it on the table, because at the moment £400,000 a week they will get easily from PSG and possibly Real Madrid in the summer when he is a free agent. Now, in relation to that, there's also been stories out there that Pogba doesn't have a lot of offers, which has scared some United fans and encouraged some United fans. It's scared the fans who don't want him to stay, and it's encouraged the fans who want him to stay. This is a falsity as well. There was some stories today from L'Equipe, which are a French outlet, that PSG are very interested, as are Juventus, as are Real Madrid. And to be honest with you, that probably hasn't changed since the summer. They are three clubs that are definitely very interested in Paul Pogba. PSG wanted him in the summer and were willing to make a move for him in the summer if there was any encouragement to do that. They had a lot of other deals that they were working on and ultimately decided that they could wait for a year, which they're going to do. So there will be an offer from PSG for Paul Pogba. Whether Pogba wants to go to PSG or not, we'll talk about in a minute. Juventus would love to get Paul Pogba. They just don't know whether they've got the finances to do it, but ultimately he is free, so it's about whether they can build a package to bring him back. They did it with Ronaldo, so they could do it again. And Real Madrid certainly are interested in Paul Pogba. He fits the profile. The thing about Real Madrid is that they would like to take Mbappe, which they will do, and they would like to take Haaland, which they could do as well. So whether they can get Haaland, Mbappe and Pogba, I don't know. They'd certainly love to do that, because what a statement of intent that would be for Real Madrid. It's El Clasico tonight and no one gives a shit. And Real Madrid are not going to win the Champions League. And I know I'm being blunt there, but that just shows you Real Madrid, Barcelona, they're way, way down the pecking order. They need to become a club, and La Liga needs to become a league again that is considered to be one of the best in the world. And Real Madrid certainly are looking to make the sort of signings that would make that happen. So the situation with Paul Pogba at the moment is basically that he's running his contract down. Breaking news! Slow sports news! Slow sports news! Yellow tie, Jim White, Paul Pogba could leave Manchester United this summer. He will be leaving Manchester United this summer. He will have lots of offers on the table. And the chances of him, from what I was told this afternoon, the chances of Paul Pogba staying at Manchester United are probably as low as 20% and could be even lower than that. So the question I said, what would it take for Paul Pogba to sign a contract at Manchester United? Because I think United fans deserve to understand that, and we don't seem to be getting it from Pogba himself. Why would we? What I was told this afternoon was that for Paul Pogba to sign a contract at Manchester United, one, they would have to put an offer on the table the same as what PSG, Juventus and Real Madrid are going to do. And two, there would have to be a clear, defined plan to be a contender to win the major titles. I don't think we're going to be a contender to win the major titles. Whether we can put the money on the table or not is another matter as well. Josh says Pogba will stay with us. He's not finished with us. Well, look, I'm not here to say Paul Pogba's going to 100% leave. That's not what I'm here to do. What I am here to do is to tell you that there is not going to be any shortage of offers for Paul Pogba in the summer. Mark, if you could swap McFred, who would you pick? Says Simon. If you could swap McFred, who would you pick? I don't know. Am I picking McTominay or Fred, or am I swapping them for who? Hem says Pogba leaving could be a blessing in disguise, Mark. Look, Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United 100% needs to happen. Yeah, I think it needs to happen for him, us, and the club. And the same for Jesse Lingard. I think they both need to leave. Vicky says Pogba, Lingard, Jones, Mata, Matic, Pereira and Martial should have left a long time ago. United have now lost millions and damaged players' career. On Anthony Martial as well, story coming out this afternoon that Juventus are interested in Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial's a really difficult one to find any information on at the moment. I think with Martial, I wouldn't actually believe that Juventus are in for Martial. Personally, I don't think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. There's a big risk attached to Anthony Martial, and I'm not convinced Juventus would go for a risk like that in a player that's never played in Italy before, who's going to cost you well over £100,000 a week in wages just on a loan. I don't think Juventus are in for Anthony Martial at the moment, and Anthony Martial is not coming towards the end of his contract. What United need to do with Anthony Martial is create a market for him or use him. I don't think we're going to use him because I don't think he wants to be used. I think he wants to go. So it's not the same with Martial. There's not a bargain there for somebody unless we did something ridiculous. I mean, the chances of Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial walking out the club for next to nothing this summer are very slim. Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard will walk out of the club for nothing if we don't give them a contract, which we shouldn't do anyway. But Anthony Martial's got a longer term contract, and United will want money for him. So I don't see Juventus moving for him. I think Martial's problem is that he's not played well for over a year and a half. So and he's on 250 grand a week. I personally think Manchester United should be using Anthony Martial, but when you've got Cavani, Ronaldo, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, at least two of those players are going to be unhappy every week. So United have backed themselves into a corner, really. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how they get themselves out of that. It's going to be expensive. I wouldn't say Martial's going to be the next Alexis Sanchez. Remember Sanchez, we spent a lot of money on him, and then when we loaned him to Inter Milan, we were paying well over half of his wages, you know, well over £200,000 a week we were paying to Inter Milan to pay Alexis Sanchez when he was on loan. United are going to be doing a similar thing with Martial. What we need to do is put him somewhere where even if we are paying half his wages, he's performing and increasing in value. But, you know, what's the best case scenario with Anthony Martial for you? Let us know in the chat. Because just cooked my steak after a long bloody day, now time for the show, says Charlie. I am live a little bit earlier tonight because I'm going to be on That's Football doing a watch-along for Chelsea versus Spurs. Hi, Mark. Can you sing Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up? I'm not a bloody parrot, DJ Dunny. And Mark, this McFred thing is starting to annoy me. We know we cannot press unless we upgrade that position, but another manager continues to pick them. But you know what, Nate? Just before we go back to Martial and what you would like to do with Martial, I'd like to see some intelligent assessment of what you would do with Martial. Not bloody just pick him and play up front, or, you know, let him go for nothing. You know, grown up, pragmatic opinion on what we should do with Martial. You know, on McTominay and Fred, I'm quite chilled about it. And the reason I'm quite chilled about it is Donny van de Beek, Matic, I don't trust Matic. I think in the odd occasion or the last 20 minutes of a game, he can come on and do a decent job. But you can't be picking Matic over Fred and McTominay. He just doesn't have the legs. So Fred and McTominay have to play ahead of Matic because they you know, simply they're younger. That's simply it. They're not better than Matic. They're younger. So I understand why they play ahead of Matic. And Donny, well, Donny never bloody plays anyway. So there's nothing, you know, I actually think, and Pogba's injured. So to be fair to McTominay and Fred, I don't rate them, but I actually understand why they're being picked. Although I would give Donny a chance. He's not getting a chance. Villa more decisive than United in this window. Look, Alexander, the point many people would make, and I would agree with, is that we act like a business, not a football club. Everything we do is underlined by profits. It's not about being a football club. It's about profits. Dortmund want Ahmad on loan, according to Sky Germany. It says Fame. Oh, I forgot about that. I'd like to see him go. MUFC on loan to a good club. Left wing for Martial. Looks like Ahmad is going to Dortmund, thought, says Rory Saunders. I haven't seen this. Let me just have a quick look. I think it'd be a great place for Ahmad to go. Absolutely fantastic place for him to go, to be honest with you. But it's Borussia Dortmund are after Amad Diallo, according to Sky Germany. Yes, breaking news. Yeah, it would be a good little move that for Donny. I would not Donny, Ahmad. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. To be honest with you, maybe a little bit controversial here. I would rather see Ahmad in the Championship than in Dortmund, because look, Dortmund's a very good club to go to. They're very good at developing players, and there's not a lot in it. But the Championship is going to be more of a challenge, and it's going to be a harder league physically for him to perform in. So yeah, I would like to see Ahmad at Dortmund, but I'd like to see him in the Championship, and I think there's a guarantee of him playing more games. The only thing I would say if I was United to Dortmund is you can't have him if you're just going to stick him on the bench, because we can do that. You know, he's got to start games, and Dortmund have got a very good record of doing that. I mean, Bellingham's starting games and he's younger than Ahmad. So look, let's see what happens with that. With Anthony Martial, the best case scenario for me is that we need to find him a loan deal that recoups as much money as we can from this disaster that has materialised. The reason this disaster has materialised is partly to do with Anthony Martial. He's got to take responsibility for his own performances. And of course, massively to do with Ollie and whoever he's been coaching. I mean, there's a story come out today that Marcus Rashford effectively felt let down by Solskjaer because Solskjaer never took any coaching sessions. And when Rashford spoke to Ollie about it, obviously he wasn't coaching, so he wasn't really much help. It's so difficult to understand what's going on at Manchester United because we hear that the players aren't happy with the current coaching, but there's vast amounts of evidence that they were appalled by the coaching under Ollie. So I don't know what's going on at Manchester United. I really don't. But what we do know is that last summer, huge mistakes were made that we are now paying the price for as a fan base, and Rangnick's paying a price for. You know, Eric Bailly looks like he's going to stay now because United don't want to let him go. Good decision. Martial has put a transfer request in halfway through the season. Donny would like to go. Pogba and Lingard are running their contracts down. Henderson wants to go. You know, most of the Mata isn't happy. Most of these players that are not happy should have been dealt with in the summer. And basically what we did is Ostrich FC. When a problem became along, we buried our head in the sand. So it's a nightmare. It's a bloody nightmare for Rangnick to have to deal with. And I think in the case of Martial, it's not salvageable. I'm pretty sure Rangnick would like Martial because I think that the way he can hold the ball up and pass and move, I think Rangnick would say, if he had a happy Martial, he would just say, well, look, let's get to the summer, let's see what happens, I will use you. I think Martial's banged on the door straight away and said, I've had enough, I want to go. You can't deal with that. Cavani's had a chat with him and Cavani's committed himself to the end of the season. Clearly there's been a chat with Martial and Martial's just said, no, I'm not. It's not your fault, but I want to go. So the way to solve the Martial situation, I think, is that Manchester United need to find him a club, even if we're paying half his wages, because the club can't afford him. I would even say, look, if Sevilla were offering to pay half his wages till May, and we had to pay half his wages, but then a club like, trying to think of someone in the Premier League that really needs a striker. You know, Everton. Everton wanted Martial, but they were only going to pay 40% of his wages and we had to pay 60%. Even though we would be paying more of his wages for Everton than we would for Sevilla, I'd let him go to Everton because the Premier League's the best league in the world. And if Martial starts scoring goals for Everton, his value in the summer will be more than if he starts scoring goals for Sevilla. And I think United need to look at it. It's not an ideal situation. We are going to have to pay his proportion of his wages anyway. But we need to put Martial at the best club we can so that if he does perform, and that's a big if, we get more value in the summer. Because if Martial went to Everton and scored 10 goals between now and the end of the season, or he went to Sevilla and he scored 10 goals between now and the end of the season, his value in the summer will be more for what he's done at Everton than it would be at Sevilla. But I don't think... I mean, Wolves is another one. Leeds is another one. I don't think United... The trouble is, United would go, wow, we don't want him playing for another Premier League club because what if Everton go above us? But that's United insular thinking again. Like, you've got to think about what's best for us. And the only outcome here is how much money we can get for Anthony Martial in the summer. Therefore, we need to put him in the best place possible to have a value in the summer. And look, remember, Martial's motivated. He's Mr. Motivator. He's ready. You know, he's like this. He's motivated because he wants to go to the World Cup. He was in... Oh, that's Martial. He was in the French squad back in September. So he's on the verge of that squad. Martial to Arsenal, says Sam. I don't think United would do that. Would you sell Martial to Arsenal? Sadistically, I would. Not to sabotage Arsenal, because the sadistic side of it would be if he goes there and score goals, it's going to really piss us off. But I think he'd do. If somebody can get the best Martial, I think he'd do great at Arsenal. The question mark over Martial is, can you get the Martial back of 2 years ago? If you can get that Martial back, then you've got a very, very good striker. And I think you've got a great chance of getting that Martial back, because I think most players are going to be motivated to prove people wrong. I don't know whether United would sell him to Arsenal. I really don't know. I think if Martial played well on his loan, our board will be like, oh, he's better, let's give him a higher wage and keep him on the bench as Ahmad. That would piss me off. You know, that would piss me off. could sell him to Newcastle. I don't know whether he wants to go to Newcastle though, Darpa. It's what. Also, you've got to consider what Anthony Martial wants. He's not going to go to. He's not going to go to Newcastle, is he? Because they've just bought Chris Wood. But I think that United need to be very clever about the Martial deal. What we've got to stop doing is burying our head in the sand. You know, we clearly did that in the summer. There were decisions that needed to be made around Jesse Lingard knocking on Ollie's door. So this Jesse Lingard knocks on Ollie's door, however you want to imagine it. So Jesse did it, Henderson did it, Donny did it, Mata did it, Bay did it, and Martial probably did it. And a few others probably did it, but 6 did it. And they all got told, you'll be getting first team opportunities. And I know Ollie got sacked in November, but did they get first team opportunities? No, they didn't. And now all those players are banging on the door again saying, I'm not here to be lied to. I'm not signing a new contract and I want to go. And it might be now or it might be in the summer, but I want to go. So, yeah, I do think Martial would do well, Golden Knights at Sevilla. But, you know, I don't know whether if he does well in Sevilla, there'll be a queue of clubs queuing up to buy him. Whereas I think if he did well at an Arsenal or an Everton, they would be. I mean, would you know what? What I would say is we're never in a million years would we loan Martial to Arsenal, and never in a million years would I condone that. If Arsenal want to buy him for a fair price, then I'd consider it. You're not going to loan Anthony Martial to Arsenal, who are probably going to finish above us in the league anyway. So we'd never loan him there. So there. KD says the level of football in the AFCON is so low. I watched a couple of games yesterday and I've got to say it's not great. Remember, but then again, is international football that good in general? Remember when people were saying how good of a man manager Ollie was? That's the only thing he was going for him. Doesn't seem he was very good at that. Sean, it's a myth. This, you know, let's not turn it into the History Channel. But you know, literally did no coaching, and his man management clearly wasn't that good because so many players got lied to in the summer and are now a problem because of that. I've always said about Manchester United, there's 2 core principles that any football club needs to have to be successful in relation to squad management. You need to be ruthless and you need to be aggressive. Ruthless in removing players, aggressive in bringing players in. If you've got those 2 core principles around your squad management from people in power, you'll never go far wrong. What you can't do is dither. We need a player, but I don't know whether I want it. We've got all these players, but I don't know how to get rid of them. And that's what United have become. Dithering Doris. You know, we're just not aggressive and we're not ruthless enough. Will we get top 4, says Martin. Not in my opinion, Martin. I don't think we will. I really don't. So, yeah, I don't think we'll get top 4. I really hope that we do. Really hope that we do. But you know what? I think if you'd asked me this 10 years ago, I'd have said, yeah, we'll get top 4, because that's what United were under Sir Alex. Sometimes you did used to get worried about whether you were going to win the league or not, but you'd go on a run and you'd do it. I think now we've been out of the Champions League as much as we've been in the Champions League over the last 8 years, I think. We had 4 years in and 4 years out. So it wouldn't be a surprise if we're not in it. And the way I keep coming back to the same thing. If I said to you right here now, the season's over, everybody. Who deserves top 4? Who's going to put United in the top 4 now? I mean, really, the teams who deserve it are the teams who've got the top 4. But we don't deserve top 4. So predicting we will be in the top 4 is speculative. We could be, but we don't deserve to be. And I actually don't think we will unless there's a massive turnaround. We've got the players to be in the top 4. I thought at the start of the season we might have the players to finish in a title race. But I did say the midfield would be a problem, and so it's come to pass. It's going to be a battle. Derby County want Ahmad on loan. Well, that's an interesting thing then. Who would you like Ahmad to go to? I've got an update on Basuma for you just to bring you in a minute as well. Where would you rather Ahmad went? Derby or Borussia Dortmund? Let me know in the chat. I'd rather he went to Derby, and the reason I'd rather he went to Derby is because the Championship is in England. It's breaking news, the Championship's in England. You might not have known that. It's in England. It's way more physical, and it's going to make him more accustomed to the Premier League than the Bundesliga. I'd be happy with either, but I'd rather he went to Derby. The issue with Dortmund is half the German league shit, and will he play every single game? And also, as we've seen, playing well in the Bundesliga doesn't necessarily mean you're going to play well in the Premier League, and as we've seen with Sancho. So I'd rather he went to Derby, really. But I wouldn't be bothered. I don't, as long as it's not fucking Feyenoord, I'm not really that bothered. Right, we've got an update here for you from Sam Wallace in the Telegraph. I've not heard of him for ages. He says Aston Villa are looking. This is from the Telegraph. Aston Villa are looking at Yves Basuma this month, with the price potentially as high as 40 million. The player is under consideration by other Premier League clubs, including Manchester United, as a potential signing. That's true. That is true. Spoke to Romano about this on Monday. We caught a little bit of it on the show, but I was talking to him about it before we went live. We were talking about Villa and the Digne deal, and he was saying it was very close. And I said to him, what about Basuma, Villa? And he said, very complicated deal. Villa will try and do it, but the player wants to play for a top 4 club, so it's a very difficult deal to do. I wouldn't say it's impossible. If Villa can get as far as having a bid accepted, and Villa get to talk to Basuma, you never know. They might persuade him with their ambition, but it'd be a brilliant signing for Villa, 100%. But again, Man United, whether we're interested or not, we ain't going to get him because we're not being aggressive. Villa are going to get Basuma. I'm not saying they're going to get him. Villa are trying to get Basuma in the January transfer window. The only reason they won't get him is if Basuma says he doesn't want to go, not because Brighton won't sell. So it's aggression again, isn't it? It's aggression to be a football club. It's the reality that no, there's no time to waste. We don't want to waste any time. We want to get on with it. Whereas United are like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how frustrating it is as a football fan, and especially as a United fan, when all you ever hear from your club is, we're planning for the summer. We're planning for the summer. You feel like just grabbing them and saying, do you live in the now, Michael J. Fox, or you're going back to the bloody future again? What are you doing? What sort of nonsense line is that? We're planning for the summer. Have you looked at the Premier League table? Have you watched us play recently? The summer is planning for next season. This season's here. It can still be rescued. And it can still go really bad. You're talking about what you're going to plan and do in the summer. We're halfway through a nightmare. We will be in the Europa League in the summer if you don't do something now. What are you planning for the summer for? What's your logic around the summer? What if we're in the Europa League in the summer and Ronaldo leaves and you're sat there going, well, we're planning for the summer around Basuma. We're not going to do anything now. What if you brought Basuma in now and we finish in the Champions League and we keep Ronaldo? What if we don't buy Basuma now? We're in the Europa League, Ronaldo goes and we don't get Basuma. What are you planning for the summer for, you prats? Because it's always about money, isn't it? You've got your bloody schedule of events. You know, you've got your bloody email reminders on. Don't start buying people until it's June. Like, I can't... If it wasn't so annoying, you'd think it wasn't true. But all you ever hear is United are focused on the summer. You know, we're focused... It's so... You know what? Having worked in the world of banking, United are like a bank. It's so tunnel visioned. April's the time to do this. Summer's time to do this. That's the time to do that. January's the time to do your tax returns. It's like we are so rigid, which is why we fail. Because it's like, no, we're going to buy players in the summer. It's like the January transfer window's open. Yeah, we do it in the summer. We're focused around the summer. Where's the bloody fluidity? Where's the realisation that football in its very nature is unpredictable and that sometimes you've got to take a risk and do something there and then? I mean, the only reason we've got an interim manager now is because the plan was, you know, very, very much the same as, well, the plan is to get somebody in the summer. The plan around Ollie, even after the Liverpool annihilation, was, we'll reassess it in the summer. That's United's plan. Until it goes abysmally wrong, they won't do anything. The plan is to look at it in the summer. We need a midfielder. We'll look at it in the summer. The manager's crap. We'll look at it in the summer. You know, put a bikini on. We'll look at it in the summer. You know, it's ridiculous. The only reason Solskjaer got the sack, they wanted to keep him. They absolutely were convinced they were right to keep him. And then the annihilation by Watford basically was like, yeah, we can't wait till the summer. We've got to do it now. Everything is based around the summer. Wait until the summer. We'll wait until the summer. We only bought Bruno in January 2 years ago because McTominay and Pogba got injured. And the manager basically said, I haven't got a midfield. So we will never succeed as a football club with this mentality of, well, got to wait till the summer. We'll wait till the summer. You know, you've got to adapt. Even before the January transfer window existed, United have got a very good reputation of bringing in players in January who become successful. Vidic, Andy Cole, Evra. There are others. We bought players in through Cantona. It wasn't January, but that was before the January transfer window existed. So you can buy a player at any time. United have got a very good history under Sir Alex of bringing players in halfway through a season, and they're either instantly impactful or they become very impactful. But look, you know, we're just so bloody rigid. And what pisses me off is, if every other club was like it, you'd sort of understand it. But you do look at what Arsenal are trying to do this month, what Villa are trying to do. They're aggressively trying to be progressive football clubs. And we're like, we'll wait till the summer. We're going to wait till the summer. Watch along in 5 minutes. I've got to go because the players are coming out on the screen. They're not coming out on the screen. That would be very weird. I'm live on That's Football in about 3 minutes' time for the kickoff. Links in the video description. I'll see you over there. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Remember, Manscaped, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Trim your grass to make your yard look bigger. Fantastic products. I'll be continuing the chat in a moment as the players come out for Chelsea against Tottenham, second leg. Join me on the link in the video description or just go straight over to That's Football. I'll see you